Okay, now define the terms habitat. Okay, let's see. For an example, let's take one of you, okay? So imagine this is Devnaka, okay? This is Devnaka. Yeah, he's sitting. I should have drawn you beautifully. Sorry for that, Devnaka. I'm very poor in drawing, okay? So he's sitting in a chair in his room now, okay? This is Devnaka. So, this is his room, okay? Imagine this is his room. So, what is his habitat now? His habitat is his room, okay? Habitat is a place where, where an organism is living. So, this is Devnaka and Devnaka is living in his room. So, his habitat is his room, okay? So population. Population means when we take a certain geographical area, the number of organisms of a particular species. So if Tevnak has sibling, there will be few other human beings here. His mother, his father, and if he had siblings, there will be siblings. So the population in this room in this particular time, so when you are defining a population, make sure that you mention the time, because population is the number of organisms living in a particular geographical area at a given period of time. Why this time is important? The population of Sri Lanka in 1980s is different from population of Sri Lanka in 2025. Okay, so make sure you mention the time, because definition of population depends on the time you are describing it. Okay, so now the population in this room is 3, okay, at this time. So community, what is a community? Now in population, we only described about a particular species, okay. So in a room, is there only human beings? No, there can be a gecko here. Oh, sorry. A gecko here. There can be a gecko here. I can't draw geckos. This is a gecko, okay. Imagine, huh? You have to imagine. You have to have a very good imagination power. This is a gecko. So apparently the gecko is far more bigger than Tevnaka's siblings. Don't mind that, huh? This is a gecko, okay? So there can be cockroaches, there can be other insects. So there are animals, organisms of different species. So all together, all of them includes in a community. So all the organisms in different species living in a certain geographical area at a given period of time is known as a community. Okay. So what is a biotic what is the biotic environment? So the biotic environment includes all the organisms here, all the living beings. If Teunaka had a cactus plant on his table, so that also includes in a biotic environment. Okay. What is the abiotic environment? This is biotic environment. This is biotic. Oh God. This is biotic environment. So including this chair, his books and all the other physical things includes in a biotic environment. So we were basically talking about these concepts last week. I mean, the last day we did the class, okay? So I hope you all have a clear idea of these things: habitat, population, community, biotic environment, and abiotic environment. Okay, so let's move on to today's topic. Okay, so today we are going to learn about food chains and food webs. Okay, so I remember most of you drew very good food chains last day. So let me draw something. I won't ask you to draw today because you did that last day. So imagine this is a oak tree. Okay, this is an oak tree. Okay. So are aphids are small kind of insects who are feeding on these trees. Okay. So they have some mouth-like apparatus to suck juice out of these oak trees. This is an oak tree, and these are aphids. Okay. So in food chains, we draw the arrow in this direction. So in order to mean that this oak tree is being eaten by, so this aphids are eating the oak tree. Oak tree is going to his stomach. Okay, so in order to uh, imply that, so actual meaning of this arrow is the flow of the energy. Okay, so the energy in the oak tree is going to these aphids. Okay, so so you have to draw the arrow in this direction, otherwise it will be wrong. Okay, so the aphids sorry, aphids suck the energy or the food. Their food is the plant materials in this oak tree. So you know ladybird, right? So ladybirds depends on these aphids. You may have seen, if you a similar scenario, you may have seen guava trees, right? There are some small white insects in those guava trees. So ants depends on those insects. Likewise, in these oak trees, aphids depends on oak trees, and ladybirds depend on those aphids. Okay, so I can uh, take a much more familiar example, but I'm not going to do that because this is the standard example mentioned in your textbook. Okay, so imagine a small white insects in guava trees, and they are being eaten by ants, and ants can be eaten by anteaters and those carnivores. Okay, so this is a ladybird. So we have a ladybird here. Okay. So these aphids are eaten by ladybirds. So the energy flow is in this direction. Okay. Okay. So let's see the ladybirds are eaten by birds. Okay. So this is a food chain. So this is a food chain. This is ladybird. This is the bird. Okay. Okay. Now you have to identify different links in this food chain. Okay. So this oak tree is the person who does photosynthesis. Okay. He is the one, this oak tree is the one who fix sun's energy into chemical energy. So sun's light energy into chemical energy. This oak tree is the only one who can fix it. Okay. So this is the producer. This is the person or the organism who produce food. Okay. This is the producer. So in a food chain, students, there's always a producer, and it is the producer is the firstling. Always a producer should be a firstling, because someone has to fix the energy. Okay. Someone has to produce food from the light energy. Okay. So in a food chain, there is always a producer, and producer is always the firstling. Okay. Most of the time, producer is always a plant. Okay. Not an animal. So this is the producer. So these aphids directly depend on the plant or the oak tree. So this aphid is the primary consumer. This aphid is the primary consumer. So primary consumer is the first animal who depends on the producer or the first link. Okay. So always primary consumer is either a herbivore or an omnivore. Okay. A carnivore cannot come to this level, because carnivores always depends on other animals, not on plant products. Okay. So always this is a herbivore or an omnivore. Okay. Either a herbivore or an omnivore. So ladybird depends on the aphids. So that is secondary consumer. Okay. This is a secondary consumer. And bird is the tertiary consumer. You can go on with quaternary consumers and so on. So this is a food chain. So the direction of the arrow represents the energy flow. Okay. So we have a producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, and the tertiary consumer. Okay. This is the tertiary consumer. So, do we have only one aphid in one oak tree? No, there are thousands of aphids in one oak tree. And does the ladybirds only eat one aphid? No. She or it will eat tens and hundreds of aphids a day. And it will depends on some other things also, okay? So that means this is not the complete energy flowing diagram. So ladybird is not only having energy from this aphid, and this aphid is not the only one who is depending on this oak tree, okay? So the energy flow is not complete. So in order to complete those things, we are introducing something called food webs, okay? Food webs is something that is designed to uh, depict or imply the complicated energy flowing uh, food chains in the environment, okay? Let's see another food chain. If we take grass, okay, this is grass, okay? And there can be a grasshopper. This is a grasshopper, okay? I'm not asking you to draw because you did that last day. And I hope you're not very fond of drawing in this screen. Okay. This is a grasshopper. Okay. The grasshopper depends on the grass. So the consumer here is grasshopper. Producer here is grass. Okay. This is the producer. Grasshopper is the primary consumer. So a lizard eats this grasshopper. Okay. This is a lizard. Okay. This is a lizard. He eats this grasshopper. Okay. So lizard is the secondary consumer. Okay. So as I told you earlier, this does not complete the energy flow. So in order to complete these things, we make food webs. Okay. We make food webs. So food webs depicts a much more complex idea of the energy flow in the environment. For an example, we can make a food web out of these things also, right? So the mouse, okay? Mouse can depend on, this is not a mouse, this grasshopper. This is a mouse. Okay. And a snake can depend on both of them, okay? A snake. Okay. And eagle can depend on the snake. Eagle or a hawk, okay, a large bird. That is ugly, right? An eagle is depending, so the arrow direction is wrong here. We have to draw the arrow this way. So likewise, a cat, okay? So there's a cat. I'm drawing very simple diagrams because it takes time, okay? So this is a cat. This is a cat. This cat depends on both the mouse and the grasshopper, okay? So likewise, and this eagle can depend on the cat. So likewise, the food webs, you can see this, right? Food webs can depict the complex idea of the energy flow. Okay, so why food chains are not enough to depict that or the imply that? Because the oak tree is not only providing food for the aphid. The ladybird is not only depending on aphids. Okay, the ladybird is depending on some other insects too. And oak tree is providing food for some other insects too. Some other animals too. Okay, insects, including insects. Okay, so here the food webs are designed to cover up that idea, but there is another conflict here. Then something missing here, because food webs does not depict the number of animals. So the number of animals eaten by the other animal, the consumers. Okay, so for an example, this food web does not give an idea how many grasshoppers are eaten by a lizard. Okay, so that this food web does not give an idea how many snakes are eaten by this eagle. Snake. Okay, so that is a different thing which is not expressed here. So food webs lacks the idea of the number of animals, including in a food chain, in food chains, and the number of animals including in a food web. So that is incomplete because the energy flowing through a food chain depends on the number of animals too. Okay, so the number of animals is a very important thing here. So, in order to give that idea, they have designed something called food pyramids. Okay, food pyramids. They have designed something called food pyramids. Okay, so food pyramids gives an idea about the number of animals included in a consumer level. Okay, there are two types of food pyramid, students. There can be pyramids of numbers as well as pyramids of biomass. Okay. There can be pyramids of numbers and pyramids of biomass. So what is pyramids of number? So shall I give you an example? Okay. Now here, take this food chain. Okay. This food chain with three organisms: grass, grasshopper, and lizard. Okay. So if I draw the first link, so there are so many number of grasses in a field. Okay. So they are eaten by a lesser number of grasshoppers. Okay. This is grass. This is grass. Okay. There can be, imagine there are 500 grass plants in a field. So they are being eaten by only 10 grasshoppers. Okay. Only 10 grasshoppers. Grasshoppers. So there are even lesser number of lizards. So there can be only one lizard here. Lizard. Only one. So you see, even though this is in this food chain, only one of each community is represented. So there is only one grass, there is only one grasshopper, there is only one lizard. So food chains just name the people, name the organisms in a food in the energy flowing pathway. But here we can have an idea. We can have an idea about the number of organisms being involved in a food chain. Okay, so this is grasshopper, grass, and there is definitely a difference in the number. Okay, the number of organisms. There is 500 grass plants, but 10 grasshoppers and one lizard. Okay, so there can be quite. So you think only pyramids go in this way, right? So the first consumers are in larger numbers, and when it goes to last consumer, it gets smaller. But there can be the vice versa also. Okay, let's see one example. So let's see this example we have taken earlier. If we draw a pyramid to this example, this oak tree example. So imagine the first consumer is the oak tree. There is only one oak tree here. Oak tree. There is only one, huh? Only one oak tree. If we take aphids, there can be thousands of aphids in one oak tree. Here. 1,000 aphids. Okay. And ladybirds, again, they are becoming small. There can be only 400 ladybirds. Ladybirds. And there can be only one bird again. Okay. Only one bird. So see, if you take both of these pictures at once, you see there's a complete difference between these food chains and the numbers of organisms involved. Okay, so this is done by through a food pyramid. So this is a pyramid. This is type of pyramids of number. So there is pyramids of biomass also. Okay. So when we take grasshoppers, this food chain, when we take biomass, when we take grass biomass, it is something larger than that of grasshopper, okay? Biomass is the weight. Imagine that is the mass or the weight, okay? So when we collect all the weight of the grass plants, that is larger than that of grasshoppers, okay? This is grasshopper and this is grass, all the grass plants. Grass plants. And lizards, when we take the weight of lizards, it is much more small, okay? But if we take the oak tree, the weight of oak tree is larger than that of aphids. Pen is stuck in some aphids. And weight of ladybirds altogether collectively is lesser than that of aphids, okay? Likewise, this is the pyramids of biomass. Biomass. This is the pyramid of number. Okay, so zoom out and take a bigger picture of this idea. The food pyramids can be that there can be pyramids of numbers and pyramids of biomass. And if you draw pyramids to the same food chain, there can be two different pyramids. See here, this food chain. If I draw the food chain here, oak tree, aphids, ladybird, and zona bird. So to this same food chain, we can represent that in two different food pyramids, one from the number and one from the biomass, and it is different. That is not the same. Here you can see quite the same picture here. In this pyramid, the pyramid with grasshopper and lizard, that is quite same. But here you can see, depending on the number of organisms and the biomass, it is also different, okay? So, why always we draw a pyramid in that pyramid? Pyramid is something like this, no? Why we are drawing it this way? Okay, this way. Why it is a pyramid? Why do we call it a pyramid? Because imagine this is a grass, okay? So a grass is eaten by a cow. Okay. This is a cow. Okay, this is a cow. Okay. This is a cow. You have to draw that again. Imagine this is a cow. So this is a cow. When a cow eats a grass plant, this is a grass plant, all the energy in a grass plant is not taken by the cow because it defecates, right? Defecates means it passes out stools. So in stools, what we call cow dung, there are undigested particles. There are undigested particles. Okay. In a cow dung, there are undigested particles. So, and when the cow is eating, he is not eating all the plants. He may have leftovers like fruits and some other things, and some are expended as energy. Okay, and some are not digested at all, and they are defecated through with feces. Okay, so that means the energy of the whole grass plant is not going into the cow's body. So that means there is quite a large amount of energy, but a small amount is going to the next level. So there is an energy loss in the midway. That is what I am going to tell. There is energy loss. We are losing energy here. There is energy loss. Okay. We are losing energy in the midway when we go from one consumer level to the other consumer level. The energy is lost in the midway. So, I forgot to tell you students, when we take this, go back to this oak tree example, there is producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, and tertiary consumer. So, we name these levels. So, we give a name to these levels like trophic levels. Okay, these are trophic levels. So, when we go along a trophic level, there is a net energy loss. Okay, there is a net energy loss when we go along these trophic levels because of energy expenditure and not absorbing all the energy in a plant or an organism, and not consuming it in effective way. So in those sort of ways, energy is being lost. Okay, so we lose energy in that way. So there is an energy loss, there is a decreasement of energy. So that is why we are drawing in a food pyramids, not food squares, not food pentagons or hexagons. They are food pyramids because of that reason, because energy is being lost in the midway. Okay. So shall we take 10 minutes break and come back? Okay, let's move on to the next part after a 10 minutes break. Okay, hope you all are back. So, we were talking about the energy flow. Okay, so there are different diagrams to show the energy flow among a food chain. Okay, yes, there are different diagrams to show the energy flow through the food chain. Okay, so imagine, students, imagine. So this is the sun. Okay, this is the sun. This is the sun. So plants are fixing this energy. Plants are fixing this energy. Okay. And animals are eating. Imagine this is a rabbit. Okay. This is a rabbit. Okay. This is a rabbit. So this rabbit is eating. This is a female rabbit. Okay. See. See the slim body. Sorry. This rabbit is eating this plant. So this plant does photosynthesis and fixes this energy. So this light energy is fixed by this plant. Okay, fixed by this plant into chemical energy. So we have a packet of energy here, right? So this is energy. We have energy here. We have lot of energy here. So this rabbit is eating this and it is having this energy, not in whole, at least. We will talk about the percentages later. This rabbit is eating this and it is having this energy. So now this rabbit is having this energy. So this rabbit is having this energy here. So this energy is used in different processes in this rabbit's body. Okay. Some of this energy is being used for the respiration. Okay. So rabbit has to live now. So for the living, respiration is an essential process. So the rabbit is using this energy to respirate for the living. Okay. And also if the rabbit is running, okay, so running, the action of muscles, okay, the actions of muscles need energy. So this energy is used in these actions of muscles. Okay. So if the rabbit is a small one and it is growing and it even an adult rabbit also has new cells and the cells are growing. Every day the cells are growing. So the production of new cells, okay, new cells, okay. So this rabbit had this energy and this energy is used in different processes, okay. So these are few processes used. This energy is being used here. This energy is used in respiration. So sorry, if this rabbit uses this energy to respiration, can this energy be passed to someone else? No. Even when the rabbit is using this energy for respiration, that energy is lost there. We lose this energy here. So this energy is also being lost as heat, the body heat. So in order to maintain a constant body temperature, this rabbit is using this energy. So this energy is lost there too. So if we use this, if the rabbit uses this energy to respiration for heat, it will not remain in its body and it will be spent. Okay, so if the rabbit uses that in actions, in muscle powers to flex and extend its muscles. Okay, flex means use muscles, contraction, muscle contraction. Okay, if the rabbit uses this energy for muscle contraction, what happens? This energy is lost. Okay, so we lose this energy. So this energy cannot be passed to a next level because we lose them in this level. In this consumer level, we lose this energy. Okay. So all these processes, respiration, the energy used in respiration is lost, energy used in actions are lost, energy used in heat are lost. So only the energy stored in the cells is passed into the next generation. So the next generation can be a lion. Okay. So this rabbit does not have scoliosis, students. You don't need to know what is scoliosis means. So this is a lion. I'm not very good at drawing lions. Imagine this is a lion. Okay. This is a lion of a grade 2 student. Okay, this is a lion. Imagine this is a lion. When you're doing biology, you should have a great imagination power. Okay. This is a lion. So this is a lion. Okay. So when this lion eats this rabbit, what happens is only this energy which were fixed in the cells, which were used for the growing of this rabbit, will be passed to this level, this secondary consumer level. So this rabbit is the primary consumer. Oh, of course, the plant is the producer. No? Okay. Teonaka is joining now. So, excuse me for this bit because Teonaka missed this part. I will repeat it. Okay. Teonaka, we were talking about the energy. Okay. So, Teonaka, this plant is fixing the light energy through photosynthesis. Okay. This plant is fixing the light energy through photosynthesis, and this rabbit is eating this plant. Okay, so when rabbit is eating this plant, the rabbit gets the energy from the plant. Okay, so this energy is used in different processes in rabbit's body. One is respiration. The rabbit has to live now, so the rabbit is respirating all throughout the day, all throughout his life. Okay, it's life. Okay, so to this respiration, energy is used. So energy is lost in that way, and it is lost to the environment. That means, just remember that in that way. But actually, through respiration, the energy is converted into something else. Okay, you know, through physics, we cannot lose energy. We cannot either produce energy spontaneously or lose it spontaneously. It is either being converted to another form, that is something else. So this energy is used in respiration, and energy can be used, and it is always used for muscle actions in rabbits. When it runs, it is used in muscle actions, and it is being wasted in the form of heat. So the rabbit has to maintain its body temperature, so it is converted into heat. That is why when you go to Nooraliya, some places like that, cold places, or in a very cold environment like freezing cold, when it's winter time, you are very hungry. Every time you are hungry because you need a lot of energy to maintain the body temperature. Even though the environmental temperature is 15 degrees or 5 degrees Celsius, your body temperature is always constant at 37.6. So that is always a constant. Okay, so the to maintain that body temperature, we need energy. So that likewise, this rabbit is also using this energy in the form of heat. And also, when the rabbit is growing and it is surviving, it makes new cells. Okay, this energy is fixed in those new cells. Okay, so Tevnaka, if this lion eats this rabbit, what happens is lion only gets this energy which were fixed in the cells. Okay, all those energy which was spent for respiration, for actions, for maintain heat, they do not go to this lion. Only those were fixed in cells were transmitted to this lion. Okay, so in this way, the energy flows through a food chain. Okay, energy flows through a food chain. So you see, in every level, energy is being lost. In every consumer level, energy is being lost. Okay, so they have found that only 10% of energy is going to the next level. If this plant fixed 100% of light's energy, only 10% is going to the next level. All the other all the other 90% is being lost. Okay, in what way? To produce heat, to do actions. So all the other 90% is being lost, and only 10% is going to the next level. When the lion eats this rabbit, only 10% of that energy. So 10% of 100 means only 10. Okay, 10 units. Okay, 10 units. So 10% of this energy is going to lion, and every other 90% is being lost. So 10% of 10 is 1. Okay, only 1 unit of, if this plant fixed 100 units of energy, only 10 is going to the rabbit and only 1 is going to the lion. So if there were in any other consumer level, it will be only 0.1. So that is why there are there is no much number of links in a food chain. So you don't see food chains with 100 links. You don't see food chains with 50 links. There are only about 5 links, maximum 5 to 6 links, and most of the time it will be only 3 links, 4 links. Why? Because this energy is being lost. So if you go further and further, there will be no energy left to transmit to the next level. Okay, so that is why the food chains are limited to fewer number of links, fewer number of consumer levels. Okay, that is why the lion cannot depend on only one rabbit. It has to take many rabbits and many animals because it it gets only very few amount of energy from this one rabbit. So it has to eat a deer. Okay, so there's a deer here. Imagine this is a deer. So it is a deer. So it has to eat a deer, another rabbit, okay, another rabbit. So lion has to eat many things because it only gets 10% of rabbit's energy, and this food chains cannot go further beyond 5 to 6 links because the energy being transmitted is very very less when it goes to further links. The terminal ends, the end links, the terminal links get very few amount of energy. So that is why the food chains are limited to fewer number of uh, links. Okay, so I hope you understood the concept of the the energy transmission through food chains. Okay, hope that is clear. Hope that is clear. So I hope you know how to zoom this whiteboard and get a clear view, and how to zoom out and get a bigger view. Okay, to have the idea. So let's do a question. Okay, so why don't you try this question? So I have uploaded a photo to the whiteboard. You can search through it and get the view of it. Zoom it out, zoom in, and let's do these 3 questions. Okay. We'll give you some time. Try it. Okay, time is enough, right? Shall we discuss the answers? Okay, the first question, which of the following terms is defined as all the organisms living in a particular place and their interactions with each other and with their environment? What is the answer? Teunaka. What is the answer, darling? Teunaka, are you there? Okay, it's okay. So I didn't see someone mark the answer. It's okay. Go on with what you are comfortable. I don't mind. Teunaka. Okay, it's okay. Let's find the answer. Which of the following terms? Yeah, good, good. You have answered. So, which of the following term is defined as all the organisms living in a particular place? Okay. So, what is a habitat? Habitat is a place where an organism is living. Okay. So, what is a population? Population is the all the number of organisms of a particular species. Only one species is included in a population. So you have to add those articles like living in a certain geographical area at a given period of time. Okay. So population includes only one species. So when it comes to all the other species included, that is a community. Okay. When all the other species are included, that is a community. So all the other species plus the environment, the abiotic environment, that is an ecosystem. Okay. So the answer is D, the ecosystem. Okay. So here they say that with their environment. That means the non-living part is also included in that. So that the answer is D. So the second one, which of the following is a biotic factor? So give it a try. Which of the following is a biotic factor? Okay, good, Tevnaka. You have answered all the three. Let's also give it a try. Vatni, pay your attention, darling. I need your answers too.
Yes, teacher, get my answers and send them in the chat.
So, which of the following is a biotic factor? Okay, which of the following is a biotic factor? Biotic means what? The living factors. Abiotic means the non-living factor. So, light intensity is a non-living factor. Pollution, that is a non-living thing. Okay, temperature is also a non-living thing. But when it comes to food supply, that is always have to be a living thing. When a rabbit is eating eating the grass is a living thing. So when lion is eating the rabbit is a living thing. So food supply is always a living factor. That means it is a biotic factor. Okay, so the answer is B. The third question, the diagram below shows a food web containing 4 food chains. Okay, you can see that the food chains. Which food chains are most efficient at using energy from the sun? Give it a try. Okay, so imagine the sun fixes 100 units of, so the sun gives out 100 units of energy to all the photosynthesizing plants. So this has 100, maize has 100, grass has 100, rice has 100, and algae has 100. So only 10% is going to the next level. So 10% of 100 is 10. Okay. So the human is having 10 here, and sheep is having 10 here. And again, human gets 10 from this one. And crustaceans get 10 from this one. Okay, so to the next level, only 10% of this is going. Okay, so fish is having 10% of this one. That means unit 1. Okay, so human is having 10% of this one unit. So this food chain has 5 chains. So 10% of this is going to this. That means 0.1. Okay, so from the food chain 1, human is getting 10 units. From the food chain 2, this one, human is getting only 1 unit. Okay. human is getting only 1 unit. From this 10 units, from this 1 unit, and from the food chain 3, human is getting again 10 units, and from the food chain 4, number 4, it is only getting 0.1. So which of these food chains give the highest number of highest amount of energy to humans? That is food chain number 1 and 3. Okay, 1 and 3. So the answer is A. Okay. So that is all about the energy. We'll discuss about the flow of nutrients through food chains next day, and we'll finish the lesson ecosystems. So we have only about 2 more units to finish before your exam. We'll finish it quickly, okay? Okay, we'll stop it here. Have a nice day, everyone. Bye.
Okay.